Hey, it's Tyson back for another Saturday episode, and today I'm going to focus on an essential yet often overlooked aspect of the legal profession and being a business owner, and that is stress reduction. And I'm going to give you some tips in our 5-minute episode here. And so here we go. Before we kick off, though, I do want to take a little bit and do a little bit of a personal sharing. I think that's in order. Over the last couple of years, I've focused a lot more on self-care and myself mentally, both physically and mentally. And you know, if you look back a few years ago, I was probably drinking too much. I was definitely eating too much. I wasn't focusing on myself at all. I was working too much. Wasn't taking the time I needed. Wasn't taking the vacations I needed. Wasn't taking the time off that I needed. And so I was experiencing the detrimental effects of that. And so over the last couple of years, we've really focused on that. Both Amy and myself, we focused a lot more on that. Whether that's going to the gym regularly. I hired a trainer. That was one of those things where I bit the bullet, spent the extra money, and hired a trainer. That's made a significant impact. Getting Amy and I both on the same page. For those of you who don't know, Amy's my wife, and so we both made this commitment together, and we both did 75 hard together. And so having a partner to do that was really really important. And I think, if I'm being completely honest, if I did not have her next to me to really on board with the whole thing, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have. I probably would have just kept doing what I was doing, which is not great. Um, and whether it's cold plunging, or even we even have group yoga at the firm. One of our employees is a yogi and teaches yoga every other Tuesday. So things like that have had a really positive impact on my stress levels and overall well-being. And that's really what led to this episode. So hopefully you get some things from it. I'm not going to cover everything, but I am going to cover a few things that I think are really really important. If you do have a topic that you want me to cover on these episodes, though, I'd love for you to share with me, and just text me at 314-501-9260, and I'll be happy to cover it if I can get to it. But let's get to today's episode. All right. One of the easiest and simplest ways that I control my stress throughout the day, and I'm giving you some simple things because I think that they're easier to implement. All right. And the first one is the breathing. It's the power of breathing. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is box breathing, and it's I do a variation of this, but box breathing is something from the Navy SEALs, and it's a technique to refocus and reduce stress. And so what you do is you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold that breath for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for another 4 seconds, and hold it once more for 4 seconds. So repeat until you achieve that sort of state of calm. Okay. And so my variation of that is what I'll do is I'll actually breathe in for 10. I'll hold for 10 and I'll breathe out for 10. And sometimes I'll even force myself to try to go up to 20. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that, but it is one of those things where that breathing technique is something that can really help me recenter. And something else I've talked about when it comes to Jason Selk is he does talk about doing that centering breath too, where he says to breathe in for 6, breathe out for 7. So breathe in for 6, hold for 2, breathe out for 7, and that's what he does, and that's part of his 100 seconds that he talks about, which I'll talk about in another episode. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but the centering breath, do not overlook it. Okay, I'm telling you, do not overlook it. And the box breathing technique is a really easy one. 4, 4, 4. Just remember that. 4 seconds. All right. Tip number 2 is turn off the notifications. And this is an immediate way to cut down on the stress and you're going to be able to control that flood of information that it's coming at you on a regular basis. And I'm saying it's coming at you because you can't control it. Right? You're just getting these notifications at random times. And so if you go into your phone and onto your computer and just turn off all the notifications, you can even on your iPhone change, and I can do a tech tip on this if you need me to, just text me and if you want me to cover it. But it's one of those things where just go into your iPhone and you can control all the different apps. And if you do want to get certain communications from certain people, you can do that in the iPhone app. And I'm assuming you can do that with all of the Android apps and all the other apps out there, all the other phones out there. So make sure you go in there, you turn off those notifications, and I can tell you, it has lowered my stress so much. Okay. And if you want more advice on the email part of it, listen to the episode on emails, because that's gonna help you out too. All right. And tip number 3, and this is the third one I'm gonna cover, the 3 of 3, it's to schedule your workouts. All right. If you don't schedule, it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna tell you. Even if you are a gym rat and you go on a regular basis, put that time in your calendar. Just go ahead and put it on there, because there may be a time where you just don't feel like doing it. Okay. Put it on the calendar so that it's there, it's bookmarked, you know where it is. Everyone knows that those are your time for the gym. And it's the physical activity should be a non-negotiable. It's got to be a non-negotiable part of your day. So you need to block out that time. And even if you don't want to go to the gym, okay, I'm not saying you have to go to the gym. Block out time though throughout your week where maybe you go and you take a brisk walk around the office, or maybe you go do some squats, okay, or maybe you do go do that gym session. That activity is going to get you moving, and no one can argue with the benefits, the scientific benefits of doing physical workout. So I'm not going to get into all those in this episode. Don't try to argue with me about it. I'm telling you, everyone knows that there are massive benefits, both mentally, emotionally, and physically, when it comes to doing the workout. So get it scheduled, put it on your calendar. Okay. And I'm going to give you an extended tip on mastering your time. And as we know, in the business world and the legal world, time is it is money. Okay. But mastering your time, it's not about making money. Okay. It's about achieving that work-life balance that we talk about on a regular basis. And you need to use tools like calendar apps to schedule everything from client meetings to your workouts and personal downtime. You want to make sure that you are mindful of your energy peaks during the day. So whenever you're scheduling things out, all right, so I talk about calendaring quite a bit, and I do it in another episode, but when you're scheduling out your items, so this is the bonus tip, is be mindful of your energy peaks. I know that my best thinking time is in the mornings. So whenever Elizabeth schedules things for me, the thinking time is in the mornings. Any, mindless tasks that I need to do, those are all pushed to the afternoon. So I am mindful of that. You need to be mindful of the same thing, those energy peaks, because it's going to affect the quality of the work that you do. So be mindful of these high energy windows that you have, because they are limited windows. You do run out of energy. We all do. So get that done. All right. So thank you for that. That's all I'm going to cover for today. So don't forget to join us next Saturday, where we'll explore even more strategies and more 5-minute tips for you. But for this one, just remember, self-care, it's not selfish. Okay. I think it's viewed by many people as being selfish, but self-care, it's not selfish. It's a necessity for being a resilient human being, for being an effective lawyer, and for being an effective spouse, parent, you name it, friend. It's vital to life. So start implementing these quick tips, and hopefully your stress levels will go down. Until next week, consistent action is the blueprint that turns your goals into reality. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next Saturday.